going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I'm joined with the boys, as always. Keelan, how do you do?
Do well, my good friend. Do well.
Wonderful.
Great Wednesday.
I'm wonderful, wonderful. Glad to hear it. And we got Mike here. What is going on, Mike?
Man, everything under the sun and currently under the moon.
I love it. Like to hear it. And we're hoping that you guys are having a great night whenever you're checking us out. Thank you so much for checking us out. Pardon me. Sorry for the hesitant start there. My finger got stuck on the button and then I had to tap it and untap it and then tap it again. So that's what happens. That means it's going to be a fun show, and we'll buckle up and enjoy the ride with us. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, please consider giving us a thumbs up and a subscription if you like this video. It would really help us out. Tonight we're going to be talking about Godfather Hindi, which is a movie that came out in 2022. I believe it was added to Netflix around October 8th, something like that. Very close to that date, added to Netflix. So we're going to be reviewing that tonight. It is directed by Mohan Raja. It's written by Lakshmi Bhupala, and it stars Chiranjeevi, Salman Khan, and Nayathara, and many other notable Indian actors as well. This movie was kind of a big deal. I believe it's a remake of a prior movie, if I investigated correctly. Perhaps our viewers can correct me on that if that's not the case. But from the reviews I was looking at and people's feedback, it seemed like it was a remake of a movie that's already been made before. I think I can get the gentleman's first impressions. But first, I'll give you the tagline for the movie, and then we'll get their impressions. So it's after the death of a political leader, a mysterious man steps in to ascend the throne. And, there we go. Nice, short, and sweet. Gentlemen, first impressions about Godfather Hindi. Keelan, why don't you take it away?
Well. We have come on around the mountain, and we've gotten through the Oregon Trail. What I mean by that is, it was a journey.
No dysentery.
Say it again.
No dysentery.
No dysentery, no cholera, nothing of that nature. This is what I would consider the fountain of youth, if you understand what I'm saying. There was life there. This movie gave you all of the feels, all of the emotions. And I do mean all. Like, there were really points where I was like, wow, I think I felt every emotion plausible or possible. I'm not sure which one goes there. And that is something I don't think I've been able to say in a while, or maybe probably just a few weeks. But it gets kind of rough. And watching this movie, I can honestly say, man, I had a lot of fun. I wish that I knew right now there was already a second version, or a second, like a sequel, and I'd be like, yo, so guys, when you want to put the sequel on? But yeah, I liked the action. I was able to follow the story mostly. A bit confused at the story at parts, but I really enjoyed this, and on different levels. And I think I can really just leave it there, because anything else would probably just be me trying to pick out parts that I enjoyed. But cinematography, great. What I was able to pull from reading the subtitles about the dialogue, which was a lot, loved it. And the actors did a great job. I don't know. Who else should I shout out really quick? The editors, the producers, they all did great. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I got.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And Mike, first impressions, what did you think about Godfather Hindi?
You know what? I'm dead inside. But the truth is, I really like this. I really like this movie. I mean, I only have like 2 complaints, if I have anything. And the only complaints I really have is, one, I thought the subtitles were a little too fast. It was a little hard to read. And secondly, it took an hour before the first punch got thrown.
Mm, hmm.
That was it. That's all
Right.
my complaints. Everything else I loved.
I do have to say, when you say that, I did expect there to be a fight maybe twice before it actually happened.
Yep.
Um, and as far as the subtitles, I was lucky enough to be forewarned about the speed of the subtitles. So I had my fast eyes on, and I still had to pause and rewind a few times.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree with you guys. I enjoyed this movie too, and Keelan, you mentioned it as sort of like a breath of fresh air or a revigoration. And I really liked that this movie did that because it did kind of also remind me of sort of Hollywood stuff that is now bygone,
Mhm.
that really is still embraced in Indian film, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't want to compare it to RRR, but there are some things that stylistically I could compare it to for sure. But as it stands on its own, I think it was a really fun movie. I do think it kind of dragged in the middle. Um, the first hour was a touch slow for me, but that's only because when you finally get the action scenes, you're like, "This is what I want to watch."
Right.
Um, and so, like, that's the movie really makes you earn those moments, and I think it does a good job. But I wish there might have been. I kind of wish that there was like a dance scene in the middle of it, like they did with RRR, or maybe earlier. You know?
Okay. So I was wondering through the entire movie, right? I was like, man, this movie is good, but I feel like something's not happening. And it was so weird. Like the two times I thought about it, I literally was like, something's missing, and I would be rolling my shoulders like something's missing. I'm not sure what something's kind of missing here. And then when it finally happened, I was like, oh, that's what
That's
I've
what it
been
was.
anticipating, and it just didn't happen. And it's because, yeah, no, spot on,
Mhm.
spot on.
I think RRR spoiled us a little bit because that mid
Get it.
movie dance scene is incredible. So perhaps that's not the standard, but it was nice to see the dancing at the end for sure.
I
Um,
still think it's funny that you guys reviewed RRR and I just happened to watch it like on a humbug. I wasn't even a part of the review. I just happened to watch that movie. And then I realized you guys did a review of it and I thought that was funny.
Hell
And I
yeah,
liked it too.
it was great. It was great. I mean, I think I saw it on Netflix because it was Beam running away from the tiger, right? That
Yep.
was the role that kept happening on Netflix, and I was
Yep.
like, okay, I got to watch
Literally,
this movie.
Yep. That's
literally the person
exactly what
who
it was for me.
that type. And
Yeah,
well, we won't talk about that movie because we can do that for.
yeah,
And then we're gonna end up talking about this for another 3 hours, 6 hour show, guys. Let's get ready.
right. Absolutely, get back into the Indian cinema for sure.
That's right.
Okay, so this is a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, so I don't think we should go beat by beat,
No.
but maybe we should just start working on the things that we want to talk about, and then we can kind of see where the conversation goes with this. So, do you guys want to start off somewhere? Keelan?
Um, I mean, hey, we can
The
start at the
first
very
hour.
beginning. Yeah, the first hour.
I mean, the first hour can be summed up in just a few statements. I mean, because it's mostly just,
It's
setting up
set
the
up.
plot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you
I
can
like
sum that up pretty quick.
Right. I like from the very beginning the whole implement of Interpol, and then just going left, like not giving us any further background other than you have this agent, you have the exchange of this case, and you have this name, Abraham Qureshi, who is basically the king of smuggling gold and everything else. Fast forward, we get to a point where we realize the chief minister has died. After the chief
Mhm.
minister dies, I mean, let's just keep it honest. Anytime someone in power dies, even if we're talking about here, once that power struggle and that power change happens, and whether it's votes, whether it's territories, whatever, however you govern or change the hands of the guard, or change, is that how we go? Change hands of the guard. Is that the right way to say it?
Hmm.
Changing of the guard.
Changing of the guard. But yeah, so as you shift that, there's always going to be, civil war, so to speak. Maybe Cold War in a civil way, but there's always going to be some jostling of the chain, somebody trying to take reigns, and that's really what we watch. Is we meet J Dev, we meet Mr. Varma, and who's the home minister. Varma's the home minister, and I don't remember what J Dev's position is, but he is the son-in-law to the chief minister who's just passed away. And
You mean you mean Jay?
yeah, Jay.
Jai.
Jai.
Jai,
Okay.
but Jai Dev.
Jai Dev.
Okay.
But no, yeah. So yeah, a lot of people just call him Jay or Jai through the movie, but his whole name is J Dev. Like that's his full
I
first
didn't
name.
realize that.
Yeah, that's just his first name.
Okay.
Excuse me. But so you see all of these things kind of going, and it's really this buildup of political satire. It's really showing you what their political structure is built off of. It's somewhat built off of the people, and you see that through how the people are rioting at the hospital when when the chief minister dies. You realize how much power the people have because they're simply mad that he's dead in this hospital, and clearly the way it went didn't go well. So whether or not it was complications of his health or anything, we don't really know how the chief minister dies, but it's very clear that the people have a say, and they're letting it be known that they're not happy with the way things are transpiring by just rioting at the hospital. But we're also seeing how far the politicians that are directly involved, that are coming up to power, are willing to go. So, for instance, the plot line that you read online. Now, when you see the movie, immediately, oh, that's about Bama. I mean, excuse me, you would think immediately that's about Jaidev, right? And that's only because
Yeah.
that's the first person you see who's chasing political power, but it's not. It's about Brahma. And that's what we have to figure out, is we have to figure out who is, Abraham Qureshi, and how all of that ties
Most
in.
mysterious man.
The most mysterious man in the world. He also drinks Dos Equis. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I was gonna say, stay thirsty, my friends.
Stay thirsty, my friends. Excuse me. However, once he's told that things are going a certain way, and we find out he's controlling the media, he's controlling the police, this J Deb dude's a pretty bad guy. But
Yep.
we don't really know it yet, how far he's willing to go. We find that out a little later. And we basically see him take Mr. Varma around to learn how to become a politician. At least we think that's what he's doing. We think he's really just taking Varma around and showing Varma, hey, this is what I used to do for the other guy. This is how you get in power. And he basically takes the reins. And yeah. How do you guys feel once we get up to that? I don't know. Right now we're only at them walking into this smuggler city.
Oh yeah. I like the bad guy on the TV screen. That was pretty good.
I thought that was pretty nice.
So cartoonish.
Right.
I also think it's interesting the way how fluidly they change between Hindi and English.
Yeah. And they did it so many times that a few times I didn't even catch it. And I was just like, whoa, how did I was like, did I understand the Hindi or did I understand the English?
It does that a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate them slipping that in there every so often to bring me back to this is still, I can understand this.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Yeah, because I did agree with you guys. The subtitles are lightning fast. I mean, holy moly.
For the educated, catch up.
Man, yeah. You got to read like 2 sentences a second in order to catch up with this.
You better catch context clues. What you talking about?
That's what I did at some point. That's why I like the fight scene so much, because I didn't need to check the subtitles.
Right.
Oh, wow. That's actually funny because that's usually how it goes. Let's see. So, the baton charge. I'm sorry, I meant to bring up the baton charge because I did think that was important. That was J Dev showing us how far he was willing to go against the public. When you're willing to send a baton charge against people after you've also sent that group of people out there to riot to make a point.
Right. He was controlling both sides of the coin.
Of that coin. Yeah, exactly. At the same time, knowing that he was in bed with the owner of the hospital, who was like, "Okay, let's burn the effigy of me, make it quick. Now get these people out of here before they destroy some shit."
Right.
Which there was a lot in this movie. Even when you get to Mr. Varma talking about pharmaceuticals and J Dev, like, "Nah, we're not dealing with pharmaceuticals. We're dealing with narcotics." but still that big corporation aspect of everything when it came to the politics and the way um, decisions were made, depending on which side of the line you were on. And mind you, at this moment, we know still nothing about the intent or the prime minister from before. Excuse me, the chief minister from before.
Right. I kept getting confused with the CM. I didn't even know what it meant. I was calling him the crime minister.
Oh yeah, no, you have the prime minister, the chief minister, the home minister, and I want to say there's somebody else too. I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
looked it up.
Yeah.
There's
I,
a
I
few
just was
positions.
watching it and was like, I don't know what CM mean, but I'm gonna just say crime minister because he a criminal.
Right, and I'm also not exactly sure
Hey,
what the
Pisses
necessary
me off.
needs are.
You know what pisses me off about these bots is that they'll be in our chat, but they don't register as a viewer on my counter here.
What?
And that just
really?
pisses me off so much
Oh,
because you can't
because the
even get the
YouTube
view off of
algorithm
it.
can tell that they're not a real person, but they still
Yeah,
allow them to. That's trash.
it's
At
trash.
least give
That's
us the view count.
I know, right?
right.
Can't you just put that
Stupid
one
man.
right next to our live stream, please?
um, and so
I did like
we
how sort of like realistic about politics they were, and realistic
true.
about the media. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And how
That they're all in
it's
bed together. You mean?
pretty much, yeah,
it
and
it
how
Yeah.
they
reminded me of a lot
influence
of
the people.
yeah, it
Yeah.
reminded me of a lot of TV shows and American TV shows and movies when it comes to those things.
America needs a godfather.
Man, listen,
Man,
listen.
Can you just send him over here for a day or two?
the uncle.
I might say, look, if all we got to do is call him uncle or godfather or hey, cousin, brother.
Man, if he go and kick a bunch of criminals in the head and make a bunch of politicians ashamed and do all the stuff he was doing, man, that's what we need.
That's it.
Right.
Look, and
That's exactly what we need.
if we find out we did something that he don't or that's not done right, because it's not necessarily he didn't agree with it. It's like, no, that's just morally not correct. Hey, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Right.
apologize and I'm gonna get it right. I didn't even realize how bad I was doing out here. I thought I was a good guy. I apologize.
And I think there's something really interesting about Indian film and still using this sort of like perfect character.
Having
Because
morals.
yeah, we've had these conversations before when we've talked about RRR and just like this cynicism that we have here in America sometimes about movie characters, like everybody has to be flawed. I like that they still kind of celebrate a character that doesn't really have any flaws.
His
And
superpower is being a good person.
yeah, I think it's something to kind of like point towards, and we all know that it's a fantasy, but still, it's kind of fun to see in a movie sometimes.
Right. Oh yeah, no, this
Right.
I think that is even when you get down to the nitty and the gritty of everything about the character, I think that is one of the more interesting parts. Like even looking up the name Brahma, right? It's like considered like a creator god, one of the
Hmm.
Trinity, being a part of the Trinity being Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva.
Right.
Whoa. Like
Yeah. And we had Ram and Beam. There's
mhm,
always like those architects of God,
mhm.
and Brahma for sure resembles that. They even
Yes.
actually had a moment they said they were talking about him being Bahubali as well, which I guess translated to the greatest
Oh.
when they were speaking of it. Like they were just saying it casually in a conversation, but they
Mhm.
used the name
The term
Bahubali, which
Bahubali.
is cool because we've reviewed Bahubali as well.
Right. I think they also referenced something else that was referenced, I believe, in RRR as well. But it was in regards to like deities and power and
Hmm. Oh
those
well,
type of
and
things.
when Brahma becomes when he gets into the fight, they say that he is Lord Shiva now
Right, right. And that
because he's
reminded me of
embodying the Shiva.
right. Was that RRR?
I think so, yes, because I think they made the same connections with uh, one of the characters, maybe Ram,
No, that was I think that was
Bahubali,
Bahubali. Yeah, that was
maybe.
Bahubali. Because he climbed the waterfall.
Right, that's
Yeah,
true. He did
yeah.
do that. Yeah.
That was Bahubali. We gotta watch Bahubali too. See, that's the problem. We
That's
haven't
true.
caught
We
up.
do. Got to finish this story.
Gotta get through the saga, exactly. So we're past the baton charge. Anyway, we're learning who's in line to become next, and we see that this investigative journalist is really informing the public about everything. When I thought he was probably one of the more pivotal characters in the first hour. Without him, we really would have nothing to tie in who's who and how this all works and why. We wouldn't even be knowing what to look out for, who to look out for. I knew the fact that he was painting this Brahma. I don't know why I keep calling him Brahma. Oh, I know. I was making a joke. Brahma. Brahma. He's painting Brahma as this negative person because he has this connotation built of him, but still saying that he is a viable candidate for the next CM. Basically saying that he doesn't think he's worse than the rest, but he is who he is. I thought that was very interesting, but he was also clearly on the side of Jaidev and Sati. Sati? Yeah, Sati Priya.
Satya?
Satya.
Sati Priya. Was it Satya?
I think it's Satya.
I think there's a Y in there somewhere. And sorry, my service was cutting out. That's why I had to cut off the mic for him.
Oh no, we thought you just didn't care and want to let know.
Nah, I had to move around because it was going out.
Right, no, I get you. So yeah, we're learning who's who, how all of this falls into place, and as we're getting that, we realize that we're arriving at the funeral for the current CM. So after all the hoopla has died down, the funeral has began, and what I thought was really interesting was Satya immediately was like, I don't want him here. And everybody knew exactly who she was talking about. And it made me wonder, so did everybody know that there was a deeper connection here?
I was confused as to what it was myself when it first came up. Like, yeah.
Yeah, from the beginning, it wasn't clear at all. And it wasn't supposed to be clear at all until it was explained.
Right.
Yeah, does Jaidev know that that's her brother?
Well, near the end, it seems like everybody knows. But we're the only people that know that's her brother from the story.
Right.
Which comes at what, in like 3 scenes we get that. But
basically at the funeral because it's a flashback.
Right.
That's the plot twist.
Like at the end of the funeral, we realize like, oh shit. No, you're right. It's like the middle.
Yeah, he's
some of that was a little confusing for me. The way they did the flashbacks, I did find that a little confusing because I didn't always know. I didn't always realize like, oh, this is a flashback right away.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Same.
Yeah, the flashbacks made sense to me because I caught them. And I thought
once I realized what it was, yeah,
they were very pivotal. So realizing that the CM is Brahma's father, then you realize like, oh snap, him and Sati are brother and sister, and she don't want him there. Oh, she hate him, and then you see all this flurry of reasons she might hate him. Mom didn't like him. Her mother basically died trying to hit him.
Right.
Like, why are you trying to beat this kid up?
Right.
Oh, snap. I hope she, and I promise you, the only thing I said was, I hope she don't die. That's literally all I said.
Hey, I knew she was. I just didn't know how it was going to happen.
I knew she was too. The moment, when she hit her head, I knew how.
That was like something out of like Ricky Bobby or like Walk Hard.
Yeah, that was definitely a John C. Reilly moment.
Yeah,
definitely. Oh my God, that was a John C. Reilly moment. You're right. But no,
cut my brother in half.
Right.
No. Jeez, that wasn't supposed to be funny, Nick. Why would you make me think of John C. Reilly in this moment? But you're right.
Wrong kid, Dad.
That's exactly what that reminds me of. What was my point? Oh, so I knew immediately that was actually going to be the reason. And I was upset that was going to be the reason because there's a lot of other reasons for her to hate her brother other than, oh, my mom died trying to beat you up and said that you don't belong here. Hey, listen, her blaming him that her mother was dead. She was like 7, she said. Who's blaming her? Hey, it's time for Pops to sit down to get some explaining.
I mean, where was his kid at before that?
With his mother. His mom had died. That was
but why wasn't they together?
Because he was the CM. Were you not paying attention?
Because the mother explains Brahma's mother explains that she basically let him go live in the big city.
Yeah, she couldn't say because Brahma's a whore.
Yeah.
That's why I had you. I had you to keep him, and it didn't work. Now, no,
Oh, he was a kid. Never mind.
you got it. No, he wasn't. In fact, so this
Hey,
the
I
story.
told you I missed some aspects of it. I couldn't catch it all.
Oh, right, you did say that. I apologize. So his mother explains to him that when she had him, she understood that she asked God for a powerful man, and that if this powerful man had a purpose, that she would let him go and fulfill his purpose. So when he got into politics after she had him, she had to let him go off to the big city, basically to protect them, because if she followed him, her belief was, I guess, that they would die or something negative, something terrible would happen. So she didn't follow him and she kept him there, except for the one time he came to meet him. And then later in life, when he finds out where he is, he continuously calls him to the capital with whomever he may be with, because
I feel
that
like I didn't watch
make
the
sure he
same
plays.
movie now.
Oh, really?
There's a lot in these
I feel like
movies,
I just
man.
missed the whole plot.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. The Brahma plot to me was deep. It was deep, deep. I just wish we know, like, how did he hone these skills other than being the boss of all bosses. But we'll get to that too.
Yeah.
Um,
There
that was
doesn't
dope.
need to be an explanation, man.
You can't explain
He's
being a
just good
boss.
with it.
Yeah,
He's just good with it.
Is you a
I
boss
still
or a
I
work?
didn't even understand parts of it, and I still like the movie.
As it should be.
It just means it's one of those movies where I would have to watch it more than once so I could fully comprehend it all.
And
Because I know I'm always gonna miss stuff on the first go through.
and no disrespect to Chiranjiva, but I believe he's an older man. And so to see him like doing all of this stuff as like an older dude is hilarious too.
Yes, it
It's
was.
kind of fun.
How old is he? Yeah, no, he was definitely moving through it, and
He's moving a little bit slower than
Wow, yeah, he's doing his Jackie Chan thing. He's 67.
Right. There you
Wow.
go. Yeah, he looks good for
He looks great for
I
67.
didn't know he was 67.
I never would have thought he was 67.
Jeez. Hey, well, they say it don't crack.
I would have said they was pushing it.
They say it don't crack.
They definitely say it don't crack, and that man is living proof. Wow. Okay, wait, no way. So if
What?
you put him next to the sister, right? Not Sati, but the other sister. She was
The little
26.
sister.
The little sister. She's 26.
Yeah, she
And
is.
Sati is 38.
Jeez.
No, really?
And he's 67. And he does not look that much older than them, bro. And mind you, I'm comparing him to the women intentionally.
Right. I mean, I was looking at the little sister like, okay, she looked good. She in her 20s. I didn't realize Big Sister was almost in her 40s though. She don't look like it.
Nope. And that's why the contrast, and then you put the men, they always say, men, we look
right.
old.
And he just looked like a slightly portly older dude. Not like he's in his 60s though. He don't look like he's close to
early 50s, maybe.
Right. Not even that. I wouldn't have gave him 50s. I would have gave him around my age.
Man, look, hairline
I would have gave it to him.
Right. Look, hairline aside, if I shave, I look like a baby with no hair.
Hey, well, you see how the brother look.
I mean, listen, yeah, they all look like kids in this movie, man.
Right.
To be 67, he looks like a child.
Yeah, he looks very good.
I'm not exactly sure where were we going with that. What was our point?
It don't matter. Satya was looking good. That's what it was. That's what it was about. He was looking good.
Understood. You were talking about the stunts and whatnot.
Right.
And I realized actually. So let's get back to the movie. A point we skipped over was Mr. Lucas. We have to get to the meeting of Mr. Lucas. And the reason is he's actually pretty important. Not as important as I thought he was going to be, but it kind of correlates later in the movie. Right. And we find out that that's what Mr. Varma is being led by J. Dev to do, is to meet up with guys like Mr. Lucas, who's a drug dealer and a drug smuggler in all these different places. Mm-hmm. And because he is that in all of these different places, he has the long monies. He could give you 750 crores a month to do his bidding, and then you just got to give him a dope plant to run his dope out of in your town, and you good.
Do we have any idea what kind of money that is, like in dollar bills?
No.
Well, somebody Google it. Crores to US dollars.
I don't even know how to spell it.
I have it right here. It says, whoa, is that right?
Probably.
Okay, wait. I'm I don't know how to read this.
Yeah, I think there's probably some colloquialism too, because I think
I
it's
thought they
supposed
used
to be
rupees.
large amounts of money, but 750 doesn't sound like a lot.
Right. I thought they were talking about. I thought Indian money was in rupees. So when they were saying crew, whatever it was, I was completely lost. Like, okay, I don't know what that means.
It could be like how we say like million or thousand, though. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's what I'm thinking. I'm
Like
thinking a
it could just
crore,
be like a, like a,
like 10 million.
I don't know. We'll see. I
Million.
mean, a lot of money. A lot of money. Yeah.
Okay,
right.
I got it. I got it. I see it now. 1 crore is a quarter mil,
There you go.
250K.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of money.
A whole lot of money.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
word. And I
If
guess
only one
their
of them
money
is
would
a
be about
quarter.
10 million. I believe I'm reading this right. Or is it 10 million US dollars? Okay, but it's up there. It's up
Yeah.
there. It's an insane
Oh,
amount.
okay.
Well, their
So that
conversion
that's
rate
the
is
units.
different than ours too. So it could be
Right.
like a billion, rupees or whatever.
Right. And that's
And
what it seems.
that's
It seems like a crore is like a unit of a large mass of rupees.
mhm.
Okay. Okay. So it's not a type of money. It's a unit.
Right. So I'm guessing that's like a same, like Nick was saying, that's like a same millions.
Right. Okay.
Like
That
when
makes
you,
him. At least it gives me some perspective on what we're talking about as far as the money.
so it's
Because
like when
I
we
didn't put
say,
much stock into it.
right. So when they say that's going to be 100 M's, we know that's 100 million. When they say that's going to be 10 crores, that's probably like 100 million of them.
Right. Or
That's
something like
baller
that.
status.
Yeah.
Baller status. See, we won't even have enough money to be discussing what they money is about. What are we talking about?
That's true.
Hey, they say like the Saudi princes, they don't count their money in a trillion.
I don't know nothing they say about them.
Yeah, I don't know either. All I know is that they're swell people.
Swell people.
Well, no, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not
Done better.
denigrating them. They're saying that they don't count their money by like the billions or the trillions. Their
And by
money is
weight,
above that.
man,
That's
I'm weighing these minerals and jewels. What are you talking about? How do you count land mass in dollar
Mhm.
amounts?
hey, you can if you do your due diligence.
I suppose.
That's a lot of work.
I would love to know how, because that would put me in a whole different class, just knowing that information.
Man.
Yeah. So, Mr. Lucas, who decides to go along with everything, because it's not that he wants to be in politics, he just wants his in with his dope.
Right.
And
A specific factory in the middle of the woods.
in a specific factory, right? But so on the way home, after they've agreed to everything, this is really when like J Dev starts to take a hill turn, and then he takes a full hill turn a little later.
Right.
But this is an abrupt, like, you did what, player? He tells Mr. Varma that he killed the CM.
Right. You tell him, I think we need to establish who is who in this situation right now.
Yeah,
But let me go on and tell you who I am and who you are.
Essentially, he definitely says, "Here, put on your skirt."
There you go.
yeah.
Like,
You look so pretty now.
you look so pretty. You just sit there and look pretty. That's all I need you to do.
That's
Uh,
it.
And essentially, Mr. Varma has to tuck tail and go along with anything, or else his fear is he's dead. Listen, if you tell me you killed the most, what he said
What was that?
exactly.
Oh,
I actually heard him the first time. That's all I was like, exactly. Um, so yeah, it's more disturbing when I have to hear it clearly,
Yeah.
though. He tells him what's going on, and Mr. Varma tucks tail and is like, all right, I'm going along with this because I want to stay alive. And yeah, there's really no way around that. What
Mm-mm.
we soon find out is J-Dev isn't just this really bad politician dude who muscles that out. He's been molesting his wife's little sister. And
Yeah. Getting her
and got her
hooked on
addicted to drugs.
well, to
Mhm.
me, that's all a part of the bag.
drugs that were like LSD and weed.
Yes.
Right. I was like, wait a minute.
The
I
Manolo
laughed
cream
so
they
hard
call-
when they said that.
I was like, because they said there's like Manolo cream, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be like a milky substance she has to drink or something. And then it was
I was
like, wait, are
confused.
those joints?
Who knows?
We pull them from under the pillow.
LSD, I was like,
LSD, weed, same thing. Yeah.
Clearly, they don't know what those drugs look like.
drugs are drugs, you dopies.
Yeah, that's true.
Put the drugs down.
Right.
That's true.
That's the whole point. It don't matter what drugs. You put those drugs down.
Say no to local drugs. He even
Right.
says it. GODFATHER says it.
Well, he said say no to local drugs because he was importing international drugs.
That's
Hey,
right.
there was one point where they actually did name off some real drugs, and then they named off some stuff I had never heard of.
It was naming off some stuff.
Like that crocodile. I done heard about that one.
Like, I was say they was naming some stuff, and then they was naming some stuff that had me like, hold on, Google. Dude, this exists.
Yeah. I
What is
I didn't
that?
really have to do a whole lot of Googling, but I did notice that crocodile one being on the list. They talked about that one before. I didn't heard about how awful that thing is.
I'm just gonna say
Makes your
everything
skin
they
fall
said
off.
on that list is like a combination of all of the Schedule 1s minus weed.
Right.
Pretty much.
Well, maybe and weed, but they will all be synthesized into something that you could smoke like weed, I suppose. But yeah. Oh my God, I don't want to give anybody ideas. Can we scrub that?
Mhm.
So
The views
after all of that,
opinions expressed on this show are not are not believed by anybody in this show. Thank you very much.
this is entertainment. I need you guys to know that. But Mr. Varma invites Brahma.
Brahma.
Who am I thinking about? Bron. Got it. Maybe I'll stop saying it now.
From Game of Thrones?
It's not Bron, it's Brahma.
Who, the
It's
Laker?
not Bron, it's Brahma. Not the Laker for sure. But fair enough. I understand how that just happened. Both. I was thinking about Bron though from Game of Thrones, and that's what I kept doing. Bron.
Oh.
Brahma. So Brahma, who's a much more entertaining character than Bron, even though Bron was an awesome character. Brahma runs the ashram and is a really good dude. He's called to the office, and we find out shit's bad. Basically, he has to get in there and show his thing off and let it be known that he is the strongest man in the world. He is the most influential man in the world, and all of your weaselly boastfulness will not get me to succumb to your negative.
I loved how every time Jayadeva was trying to get one over on him, it just never worked out.
Right. Like even being boastful about, I'm working with narcotics. What you gonna do about it? And it's like, listen, bruh, my main thing was keeping drugs out of this neighborhood. You not gonna do that, so we're gonna have an issue. Yeah, you have a good day. I'm just gonna go ahead and walk out because I'm gonna kill you if I stay any longer. I don't want to do that right now.
Even when dude was in the prison cell and he had to nod to the officer to let him out.
Right. Well,
hey, I love that part.
Right. I'm like, so as you get through all of that, he has the girl lie on him and all of that. And when that happened, I was like, he's burying himself even deeper.
Making it worse.
Something I've learned, and this isn't just about movies, but something I've learned about genuinely good people. Even the people who do them wrong typically come around. If like genuinely good people, typically the people who do them wrong eventually go, oh snap, it wasn't, that's not how I should have handled that.
Right.
That's how I lost that situation. I can't say friend because you never know the situation, but yeah.
And then you get people who triple and who double and then triple down on the same nonsense.
You know,
and at that point, it's like you get what you get.
It's hard admitting you wrong. I've been there. I'm not here to judge anybody. It is super hard to admit you wrong, but it is very, very helpful, and it helps you grow a lot. But J-Dev was not willing to do that, and Brahma was. That it really just comes down to that. He didn't care about his transgressions because his transgressions were all done to make things better in different ways, and that's really why when he's in the prison, he still has power. When old girl lies on him, she is literally breaking her brain out of thought and anxiety of turning her back on somebody who did so much right by her and her child. And her husband, apparently, who we didn't even know what that was about.
Why were his eyes so red? Or did y'all not notice?
Did.
Yeah, I'm like, we noticed. I just don't have an answer for you.
Yeah, I have no idea.
They're bloodshot red the entire movie. I was like, man, go get some sleep.
Maybe it's a type of diet.
Maybe it's
Maybe-
those pharmaceuticals.
I was gonna say maybe they were trying to give the impression that because he was around certain things, like because he was going back and forth, that he was also involved with the drugs and they were in his system.
Maybe.
Right.
And maybe that's why he was making bad decisions. Maybe that's what they were, or maybe he was under that much stress and pressure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. All reasons sound just as reasonable as any other.
I mean, his
All
boss
signs point to
boss
yes.
just did tell him to kill his wife and child. So
Man, listen. Oh, well, his eyes were red the entire movie, like long before that.
Yeah.
But fair enough. Very fair. That part had me like, whoa, buddy. Rolling like a big shot. I'm out of this thing. But when he's in prison, Jaidev gets a phone call after. No, sorry, Jaidev didn't get a phone call. Brahma got a phone call. But after Jaidev comes and threatens him and tries to big man on him, that was the coolest. Listen, when you walk into a prison cell and you come in there threatening and kicking things and everything, what you don't expect is when you, all right, open the gate. They don't open the gate. They look at the prisoner, and the prisoner got to say, hey, yeah, let him out. To let you know, well, you know that's a lion over there, right? It wasn't locked in there with you.
Well, it was at that moment he realized he fucked up.
Do you feel in charge?
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. I got that. I have. Oh, listen. Bane is coming in this episode. I have a Bane moment that came just a little bit later. We coming up on a Bane moment
Fair
that
enough,
I
fair
have
enough.
to share.
Yeah.
I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So after that, we get introduced through the phone call to Masoom, little brother. Listen, and I have a theory about little brother Masoom, and I was thinking maybe that's his real little brother, not just like, little brother, like he took him under his wing and put him on and took care of him. Because he had a mother. His mom didn't die until he was in his teens, is when he went to his brother. What if his father? What if his brother just went to his dad?
Maybe. But they do use that like sort of colloquially.
Oh no,
right?
yeah, that's a
You know?
colloquial thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We are of the same fight. We are of the same blood type thing.
Mhm.
You know.
I was a little confused about that myself because I thought maybe he was the actual blood brother, but then again, they kind of call each other brother, a little more like familial.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And I'm
So
thinking
that's
it could
kind of
just
where
be a
I was
little,
at.
yeah, I'm thinking it could be a little bit of both with those two specifically. But I like the Masoom character. Like, as soon as he jumped on, and that's what let me know, like, oh, okay, he's another big time actor, and I had to look him up, like I was saying earlier. Still wasn't really quite sure of the credibility level, but he's right there. Like when you show me that on IMDb, they're right next to each other. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, these are the top two credits in this film.
Right.
Excuse me. Almost like like how what was that? Robert Del Toro? No, that's Guillermo del Toro. Anyway, the movies with not Sin City. What's the ones? Robert. It was the black and white ones with Danny Trejo and Machete and all of that. Anyway, that
That's
scene right
Machete.
there. Yeah, let's just run with Machete. But that
Okay.
scene reminded me of that. That scene reminded me of that style of cinematography where he's rolling on the bike. First you meet him and they get like that little scene of him, and then little later he's rolling on the bike and he has like his cool guy stance and he does his thing. It reminded me a lot of like that style, which I don't know for what reason. I can't remember who directed those, and it was not Quentin Tarantino, but he was a part of them.
Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez. Thank you so much.
That's exactly what I was thinking because he was what was it man, what was that, the zombie movie they did together, the
Yeah, with
triple movie thing.
Rose McGowan and all of that. That's
Yeah,
the one I
that
was
one.
trying to think of. The one with Rose
That's
McGowan.
what I was thinking about too when I first saw that. The whole way they shot it.
I just don't remember what it's called right now. But that one's not
Grindhouse.
Machete. That was what was it?
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse. Yeah, the second feature, or was that the whatever? It was a multi-feature film back then.
Right.
That's Tarantino though.
Is that?
No, it was different directors though.
I thought it was.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Death
wanna
Proof
say they
and
both-
Grindhouse.
Yeah,
So
Death Proof,
was
Grindhouse.
Tarantino then.
I think so, yeah, because that one had the feet in it.
Right. Yeah, Kurt Russell.
No.
It is what it
Amy
is.
Grindhouse, because Rose McGowan loses her leg, so there's way more feet in that one.
No, because the other one, she had her whole leg sticking out with her foot swinging back and forth.
That's how she loses the
You can
leg.
tell. Nah, that was not Rose McGowan losing her leg. All right, we confusing movies now, but
Sorry.
yeah,
Okay. I was
Yeah.
it's all right. You can definitely tell Quentin Tarantino got a foot fetish, and there's nothing wrong with that. I approve that
No.
message.
Screen Time Continuum is not liable for the views and expressions, views and opinions expressed here. There we go.
For sure.
I know nothing of what you speak, sir.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So after we meet Masoom, and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, all the fighting about to start. Guess what happened, y'all? Prison fight. That prison fight was cool.
Gotta love a good prison fight.
Mhm.
Gotta love a good prison fight. Now I don't remember, the prison fight wasn't the first fight; it was the second.
No, the first
Nah, the
fight was
prison
when he
fight-
goes to the
drug factory,
mhm.
Yeah, okay,
or the
right.
attempted drug factory.
Yeah, when they were trying to still set up the situation.
And they
Yeah.
couldn't find any evidence that anything happened.
I thought
Yo,
that was pretty cool
Listen,
too.
when I say you got power, when the whole village come out, get to busies. They got bodies
Cleaned
out
it.
of the way, cleaned up
Mhm.
blood, picked up shells. They made it as
Everything.
if nothing ever happened.
They probably
And
cut
they
down the
just stood
trees
there
that
and
had bullet holes in them.
watched. Probably. And then they just stood there and watched. Go ahead,
Man,
Luke.
like some good soldiers should.
As they should, man. Right. Letting you know, oh no, we was here, but you can't prove it.
Right.
And you don't want to prove it. That's the thing.
Prison
So-
fight was good though. That was fun.
Prison fight was great, and then that's when right after that, we see Masoom destroy the money. But so I like how at that point is when after the money is destroyed, nobody has a reason to chase the money, and now we start seeing everybody else make their turns, with the exception of the main heel. But we start seeing everybody else realize like, oh shit, maybe the money's not worth it if it's gonna. The money's not even there anymore. Now what's the point? Like the money's definitely not worth it because it's not coming to us anymore.
Mhm.
Even Coty and his wife, he lays his life down because he don't want his baby to get killed, which I thought was like, oh, that's what they had to do. They had to put a gun in your baby, bro. Kill him anyway.
You
Don't
know
kill the
what?
baby.
After
Don't kill the
seeing that
baby.
fight scene, I would have been good. I don't
What,
need
which-
no more.
That could have been
Oh.
it. That could have been it.
Right.
The
Oh,
prison.
This is
but,
a
I
movie
mean,
for me.
the last 15 minutes of this is just banging though.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But I thought that was dope how, he was ready to lay his life down for his kid. And he's like, I'm going to spare you because you were willing to lay your life down for the kid. And he's like, Brahma. Like, yo, bro, did you kneel to the phone? Good,
I
man.
love it every time he has one of those moments. Like the music goes, Godfather.
Yes. Yes. I need a chorus of that nature just to walk around the backyard with me.
Absolutely.
Man,
The backyard meaning all of Los Angeles.
every good hero needs a theme song
Hmm.
or theme music.
Theme music. Let me play my theme music. And then Brahma also gives that he has that file delivered to Varma with all the movie, right? All the
Mhm.
files. Or wait, no, was it that first?
No, that file he gave that to the reporter who
You're right. He gives the file
created
to
the movie.
reporter. Yeah,
That's the reporter who's in the beginning of the movie who's
exactly.
walking through it all.
And you realize he's so important because he has to tie things together. He's
Correct.
the non-biased party that the people trust.
Kind of like the narrator.
Yeah.
Pretty close to a narrator.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can probably name a few people in this world that are kind of vetted in that way. Some might be comedians, some might be called influencers nowadays, or whatever you want to call them. But there are a few people who I think could take that role on in different instances, and do. I mean, again, one, like I said, comedian, all that other good stuff too. Fight commentator. I didn't say we all. I'm talking about.
No, I get you.
There's a masses of. So you really see how all of that plays out though, because once that folder is given up, and he even doubts Brahma and his purpose, and Brahma has to check him, and he's like, first he calls his name and he tells him to sit down like he's his kid, but then he
I
gives
thought
him,
that was cool.
hey, listen, when you turn your back on me and not call your name with bass in my voice, sit down.
Yes, sir. I'm
All
sorry.
right, well, I didn't mean to stand up so quick. I'm sorry. Did I scare you? I know. I know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So he sits down, he explains to him though. And I like how he was able to explain his purpose with still not having to reveal to anyone that he didn't need to reveal it to, that the CM was his father. And he essentially explains that he was put in a position where he was able to witness the chief minister, excuse me, not get his needs met and have to kind of bend the knee to the corporations because he didn't have the funds. And that's why he had to step into the darkness so that he could fund what goes on in the light. I thought that was brilliant. How else do you explain being Robin Hood? How do
Oh
you
yeah.
explain getting the inspiration to be Robin Hood? Oh, I was poor, so I don't want to see nobody else poor. That don't make you Robin Hood. That make you Aladdin. And Aladdin lied until he got caught.
And you know what? To be honest, I didn't realize that was the case until we were almost at the end of the movie.
Same.
That he was Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was
My-
like, I was kind of like, well, how did he get all of this kind of power? Like, why they respect him so much?
Oh yeah.
And
I
then it's
gathered
like
that.
at the end, it's like, oh,
What's weird is I gathered that from the Interpol discussion at the very beginning, when it's like, as you go through this case, your world's gonna change. And I was like, why would the world change unless he's not a bad? Oh shit, he's a Robin Hood character. I didn't expect it to be so damn cool.
see, I ain't that smart. I didn't put that together.
Like no, that because in my mind, it didn't seem from the very beginning, it didn't seem like Interpol wanted to catch him. Interpol wanted to keep tabs on him, but not necessarily catch him.
Yeah, that's not the same thing for sure.
Not the same thing at all. And you think back to back in the Robin Hood days, with the exception of the Sheriff of Nottingham, because he was an asshat, everybody pretty much knew Robin Hood and what he was about and what he was up to, and nobody ever went after him except for Sheriff of Nottingham.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. Robin Hood lore over here.
Right.
And that story actually gets nasty, so I'm just gonna stop. But once we get all of that, we find out what's going on. We see that he's really giving back, and he's convinced the reporter to be on his side. And he's also validated himself in his actions. Like, he's validated why he's not the greatest guy in the world. It's not easy to do that. Most of the time, you're a bad dude. You're a bad dude. But when you can say, "Hey, I'm a bad dude, but this is why," and everybody go, "Hey, that's a good reason to be a bad dude. Never mind, do your thing."
And he said, you know
That's
what? He
tough.
said, I'm not a good dude, but I'm not a bad dude. And that's a true statement. I get that. I felt that in my heart.
Hey,
I
I'm
may not be a
good,
good
Okay.
dude, but I'm
bad and
definitely
good.
not a bad dude.
Right. You know what? Harley Quinn feels the same. Never mind. So right after that, we get into the nastiness of what goes on in the dark, because now we know who is really providing the light. Satya finds out that her sister's in the hospital, and we then get her sister. What was her name again? Giovanni? No,
I think it's yeah.
Jean. It's the way it's spelled.
I
And when I look at it,
couldn't.
it looks like Giovanni
Yeah.
almost.
Mhm.
Jean. So she finds out her sister's in the hospital and goes to talk to Jean V. And of course, she's not listening to her at first, but then she hears her out and she lets her know, like, your husband's been turned me into a sex slave and got me hooked on dope. Straight up. That's exactly what she says. He got me hooked on dope and he turned me into a sex slave. And there's nothing I can do about it because nobody believes me.
Mhm.
And it's like, yo. And then when she says, "Sister, save me from this hell." Oh, my eyes in the water and save your sister. What you doing?
Right.
I turned into Brahma out here, man. I swear, boy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. At first, when it first came down, I thought maybe she was kind of with it at first, and then it turned on, and she was like, "Nah, this ain't cool." And then when he said, he put the drugs in her food, I was like, "Oh,
I never thought she was with it. I thought she was using, and he caught her. I never thought it was like, damn, he's the one who got her hooked from the beginning.
oh man,
I really
I'm
thought
saying
he caught her and just used it against her.
I think everybody evil until proven otherwise.
Oh no, he was for sure. He was the inherent evil from the gate. There was no question on how evil.
I mean,
Right.
he made a poison inhaler, so
Yeah, that's
Right,
evil all in itself.
right.
I use an inhaler sometimes,
But
so
we
I
didn't. Well,
wasn't cool with that.
but we didn't know it was a poison inhaler until around now is when we actually find out. When he
Right.
tells the story to Priya is when we found out it was a poison inhaler. Before that, we just knew he was the one who was responsible. So for all we knew, he hired somebody to do it at that point.
Right.
But so yeah, Priya goes and she confronts him, and he tells her everything. Like, nah, that's right. Now that you know, I did it all on purpose, and I did
Right.
it because I wanted to take y'all down, and I know I had to kill him and marry you and destroy her, and now y'all ain't got no credibility.
That was the
Take that,
moment where he felt like he could take his belt off.
man. Listen, that was
It
the
was like,
moment.
that's
from
the
that turkey
villain.
dinner.
That's the villain victory lap right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
I
like,
can
his
take this
belly fell
belt
out
off
in
from
the-
this turkey dinner and relax now.
He was like, well, now that that's out, I guess I ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yep.
Well, that made Sati come around, and she realized she'd been messing up for like 20 plus years, and her brother need to make amends. And so she immediately makes that call and says, brother, no, first she goes, my dear. When he says my dear, then she goes, brother, I need you. And I'm like, yes, do
Finally.
it. Make that call. They got together, they had the call, got everything together, had that brother sister talk. I love in Indian movies how once you know that the audience already understands something, they don't give you the same story and dialogue all over again through a different discussion. Like we didn't just watch it for an hour and a half.
Right.
But American movies do that all the time.
Because they need to recap. Because Americans, we don't have long attention spans no more.
The lies.
Through all
They
the clips.
They don't want us to have long attention spans, so they don't
Right.
give us anything to pay attention to. Like if this was a Marvel movie, we would have heard the same damn story 4 times within an hour. Just for somebody because it was a new person walked in the room, so now you got to tell the story again. No, that's not how that works. The audience knows what's going on. Assume that the people in the movie are just clairvoyant. I don't know, but anyway,
Why are you singling out Marvel?
because they're the only notable franchise right now with multiple 3-hour movies.
He just wants to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. That's all.
I'm actually probably am gonna watch that if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you go watch it.
That Black Panther 2. Like there's things I'm watching. It's just
I didn't watch it
yet, but
no.
plan.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh no, okay. Well, oh well.
The holiday special I'll probably watch though.
Yeah, fair enough. I just want to see what Groot's up to. Groot and Groot.
Right.
Groot.
Because I am Groot.
Maybe Nebula, but Groot. So once she gets to confront him, and now he done got all comfortable, and she done called her brother. They done got together. They had their montage of talking and embracing and getting back on the same level, and her apologizing. And I've been away for too long. And the coldest, best thing a brother could say to a ailing sister in pain: you've always been in my heart. We ain't gotta have that discussion. You've always been here. All you ever had to do is do what you did and make that call, and you see what happened. And on the way out, this is a real sister move she pulls to it. I loved it. On the way out, now she had already told him everything about J Dev, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's seething, he's furious. She stops, excuse me. He's like, no, what is it, my dear? Like something else is on your mind. And she lets him know that the bodyguard dude made a pass at her. Listen, the first person we actually see him basically kill or assault or draw blood from, like there are plenty of people who, he really put down, but he ain't actually kill nobody. Well,
no, that's not true.
Except for the people he shot, but the drug dealers don't count. I'm talking about like people who in that moment wasn't really doing no dirt.
Cold blood killing.
Cold blood.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
And he deserved it. Let's be clear. But this is the first time we actually see Brahma as the man who he has to be, but he makes a way to not need to be anymore. He has people to do that.
Right.
That's when I knew, it was going down. I also enjoyed, what was the next thing, the whole TV thing, like just breaking down that guy, the media guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna get it.
Everything in the world. I thought he was too, but I appreciated the way he went about that. I apprecited.
Yeah, me too.
They just paid him.
Well, not just paying him, but reminding him of his purpose. Because he
Right.
was set on, oh, you're not going to be mad at the 3 pillars. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You worried about the 3 pillars. You're the 4th pillar. What is
Right.
your job? Are you doing your job? No. Why aren't you doing your job? Because you're in debt to all these people. Now you're not in debt. Do your job.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's how
Or
I feel
I'll do
about
my
our
job.
American media here. That's exactly how I feel. Like,
And
That's
who are they in
why.
debt to?
That's why we
It's just
need Godfather.
um, so yeah,
man,
once he does all that, I'm really like, all right, it's going down. But then he has to get that call. Listen, for the sake of J Dev and everybody else who was standing in his way, I wish he didn't have to get the call. That little sister, the
right.
one that they mom, Priya's mom died giving birth to her after hitting her head, trying to hit him. Basically, she almost died, the baby. All right. You done
I
got
did
her
not
on
catch
dope?
that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the
And
connect. That's what made it so deep.
because that's his little sister.
That's his little sister. She don't even know him. I'm sure she had no recollection, but once it all started going down, it made real sense. You get what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And yeah, from there, I mean, hey, so let me pause. Now, before we get into the darkness, let me back up to Pops. All right. So after Priya has her moment with her husband and he goes crazy, and before she calls her brother, she remembers her dad saying to her, one day you're going to need your brother. That's why I brought him back. Because one day you're going to need him when you realize that you're stuck in darkness and there's no way out.
Surrounded by enemies.
Essentially, what he said to her is, you simply adopted the darkness. I was born in it.
Molded by it.
Like, listen, the way he said it, I promise that's how I heard it. That's how I heard it. He was born in it.
Don't do that.
And but for sure, when it came time and he had to get back to the darkness, listen, I don't know if I was prepared for his dark side. Brahma is not the man.
I was waiting
it was
for it.
fun.
I
It
needed
was
it.
great. But no, what I mean, like, I knew it was gonna get bad, but he didn't touch one person, and maybe 50 people died.
Yeah.
Because you don't necessarily have to when you the man.
That's
right.
what I'm saying, son.
I mean,
didn't
he made a lot of the people he fought just kill each other.
Mhm.
Like the dude he sat on and then just used his gun to shoot all
That was
those
dope.
dudes.
That was the
That was
coolest.
funny.
Oh, that was so cool. He said, blah, blah, blah. All he needed was a cup of tea.
Right.
Right.
But he had his buddy, he had his buddy with him, and his buddy, he was doing the donuts and his buddy was shooting.
He was doing the donuts and gangster walking with his fingers at the same time.
You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
even know what he was doing, but it was so cool that I was like, that's dope. Like, I don't know if that's telekinesis or if that's like
feeling the wind between his fingers.
Yeah, I was just about to say he was like rolling the wind, like like back in the old movies, they used to roll quarters and stuff around their fingers. He was just rolling the wind, telekinesis. But yeah, so the boys came, got busy, and when Masoom hit the door, you then see I forget his name. I think that was Russell or something. But the henchman for Mr. Lucas is like, Mr. Masoom, brother, what are you doing here?
Oh,
Like,
right. That's when it was like, uh-oh.
Yo, when he said that, I was like, oh, shoot.
Oh,
I was
there's
like, well,
connection.
Mr. Lucas ain't got no bodyguard, but he was still there with Mr. Lucas, and Mr. Lucas was the first one I noticed that twitch, and I was like, oh shoot, Mr. Lucas about to put his gun down.
Yep.
And Mr. Lucas was like, guns down, and I was like, uh-oh.
That was like the G'est moment ever. Like, oh snap!
Why are you putting
You
your
put my gun down.
Right. He's the reason for all of this. Do you know who he is? He's the Godfather, and he gets on one knee to kiss this man's ring. Oh, listen.
Like, oh.
That took
How
a turn.
You don't know how you think you the man in your own circle and you don't even know who you fighting?
The boss of all. Do you know who he is? He's the boss of all bosses.
Like, how you didn't know that before this though? It's not like he was hiding his face
No,
and keeping his name a
no,
secret.
no. Remember what the Interpol said at the beginning. He is a man of mystery. Nobody knows exactly who he is.
And Jaidev probably wouldn't have any access to knowing that
Well,
until he
not
got.
him.
Because he's definitely a pawn of the underworld. He's not in the
Yeah.
underworld.
Well, no, I don't mean Jaidev. I mean how Lucas didn't know that that's who they was dealing with. If you the man in your circle, if you the man, you know who you fighting.
I think Jaidev just told him it was his brother, or his some
random
guy.
Yeah. It was never explained to him, and even when he called him, he never told him it was him.
So
He
they ain't
simply
watching the
said-
news.
And if he says Brahma, he doesn't know
Yeah.
him as Brahma.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they don't know him as Brahma. They know him as AQ.
AQ.
Abraham Quarishi.
Rishi.
Abraham.
I was about to say
Abraham?
that's a different.
Yeah,
It's a different podcast.
I'm not even gonna ask.
It's decent. Don't worry.
Okay. But yeah, so after we get to that, let's see. Oh,
Makes him take the poison
he
inhaling.
makes him die the same way you killed the CM, my good man.
Man,
I'm not gonna waste no bullets on you because that's money.
right. Bullets. Hey, my uncle used to say, missing ain't an option because bullets cost too much.
Well, that's also from RRR.
Yes. Oh no, it was from Siddhar
that?
Udham.
Oh wow, that's from Siddhar
Yeah.
Udham.
Yeah.
Oh right,
he said that too.
The cost of a bullet.
Yeah, the cost
Oh.
of a bullet. Where they were having the riots, and he was like, "Kill him."
Don't
That's
waste
a
your
terrible
bullet on
insult.
Indian.
Bullet, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Your life isn't worth the cost of a bullet. That's an insult.
That's a huge insult.
That's the lowest of the low.
Go on and drink this poison mist real quick, so I don't have to waste no money on you.
Mm-hmm. Talk about hitting them where it hurts.
You already paid for this poison mist. I'm gonna go on and have you use it. After he thought he was gonna flex and call, like, yeah, killer. I'm gonna flex on you. Now what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Let me show you.
Dies the exact same way. And I like how as he's having that moment, he's having those flashes of watching the CM die.
Mm-hmm.
But after he dies, Satya reads a letter from Brahma in front of the masses, where he basically writes a letter where she tells them that she is becoming the prime minister or the chief minister, and she doesn't even know it.
Right.
And I'm realizing I think the chief minister is similar to like a governor. Like she rules the state.
Probably something like that. Or I know that
they said president, so I don't know.
She's president of the party.
President of the party.
Oh,
like
okay.
You don't necessarily govern the entire land. You govern the rules made for the land. Not quite the same thing. Like, what would that make her, Nick? Wouldn't that make her like Congress?
I think governor
Like
probably like a provincial governor or alderman maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not an alderman. I hope it's more power than that.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how much power an alderman has. As Compton. No, I don't know anything. I'm just being funny right now. Right. Look, like, just in case I accidentally said something that's real, I really don't. I'm just,
Views and opinions expressed on this podcast.
Exactly.
Those of Springtime Continuum.
Too close to home. I shouldn't have said it. But yeah, so we then also find out that the Interpol has been told by Mr. Lucas that Abraham Koresh is back in business. He's back.
He's back.
It's been 20 years.
Baby.
Hey,
So
he got a whole jet that say boss on the side.
Yes, it does.
I think
he's so fancy. He's speaking French to the French stewardess on his PJ. Come on now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? That just registered. That's how even Mr. Lucas wouldn't know what he looks like. He went off the grid for 20 years. He went back home to do the political shit.
Yeah.
That's how even Mr. Lucas wouldn't know. Because Mr. Lucas knows who the boss of all bosses is, but he doesn't know who the boss of all bosses is.
Until he see him face to face.
And then it's like, oh, you're the guy everybody's told me about. Because what everybody do when they look that man in the eyes?
Bow down.
They get real motherfucking docile.
Bow down.
You know
when
what?
he come to your town.
This your chain, Debo? Yeah, no, my grandma said this was yours. I don't even know why I still got this on me. Turn around, bro. I got you. I'm in class. They're gonna make you do that to your fingers, being how your fingers all tense.
You
I
know
know
what
you
I'm
got
saying?
that arthritis.
I don't want your fingers turning green.
But so the Interpol looks at Brahma or Abraham Korishi as a necessary evil. Essentially, they know everything he does. They know how he gets down. They know the people he's killed, the people he's let live, and the people he's put in power. However, the good he does with what he does is worth every bit of the evil. Says a lot.
Says something for sure.
What does it say? Do you know? Do you know what it says?
Yeah, no. But then we get a really banging dance sequence, which is fun.
I almost forgot about the dance sequence, in fact.
How could you forget
and a
about the dance sequence?
I did forget about the dance sequence. What I actually wanted to mention that song, Al
Oh,
Pacino.
Al
Al Pacino.
Pacino.
I was like, whoa, what is the point? And then I started piecing it together, and I was like, oh snap! Somebody likes the movie Casino.
Pretty much. I think casino it rhymes with casino. Casino.
It does rhyme with casino. She definitely says casino.
Mhm.
Says, and it's like basically the sentiment of having, I don't know, the wiles of the world in gambling.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's it. The dance sequence goes well. I'm not sure. The third guy that jumped out there, that was the guy who plays Jaidev, right?
I think maybe it could have been.
I figured that was him without makeup.
Maybe, or
That's
the
what I was-
director. So, because I think I've noticed that the director sometimes comes out for those dances as well.
That makes
So,
sense.
and at least the ones at the end.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And it's funny. Also, I want to mention that the guy who played Jaidev, his real name is Satya Dev.
hmm
So it's like maybe that's why they kept going with J instead of calling him Dev. So he didn't. The correlation. What am I talking about? He's a professional actor. That's insulting for me to even insinuate that.
Mm.
Yeah, I pay me no attention on that part.
Okay,
But yeah, so that's the end of the movie.
That's it.
It's a good movie. Satya becomes the CM as she should have from the beginning, and we all felt that way, or I felt that way. I can't tell you what you guys felt. With that being said,
I didn't come to that conclusion till the end. After I realized, okay, she above board, then I was like, okay, yeah, she can do it.
Right.
I felt like she could do it from the beginning, honestly.
I didn't because I didn't trust her.
Fair. Now, I didn't say I trusted her from the beginning, but I definitely feel like she could do the job.
Right. I wasn't sure if she was just power hungry too, because she was like, well, I wrote my daddy book and I can do it. I'm like, okay, but you actually being a butthole to your brother for no reason too. So I don't know how to take that.
Right. I thought she was a little naive and just immature at first. That doesn't take away from understanding how to run.
Watch too many movies.
For me?
Nah, me. I watch too many movies.
I want to say, how do you define too many movies? I just found out one of the top actors in the world apparently watches, or at one point watched, a movie a day. Yeah.
Mm.
Spooky shit. Anyway,
spooky.
To me, to watch a movie a day, that's spooky. But if you are one of the best actors in the world, that's literally your job, is to research acting. So maybe it's not that spooky. It's work.
Research for sure.
So yeah, great song. Final thoughts?
None. I think we've been through it. I think we're ready to give our final verdicts here, guys.
Yes, indeed. My final thoughts are going to be the same as my beginning thoughts, just so we have something at the end. Great movie. Nothing really to complain about in context. Of course, there's always something to say. Right. Well, that's what I'm going to say. Of course, there's always something, but I mean, that's not really a part of the production of the movie. Yeah, cinematography, acting, the dancing. I forgot about the dancing. The dancing that kind of reminded me of early 2000s Destiny's Child.
With all the humping, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. All the humping, humping, and the shorts with like the little design on the side.
Why was that? Never mind. I can't ask that. But
2000s. I was getting independent women vibes over here.
I wasn't sure what kind of vibes I was getting, because I definitely was making fun of it. Not something I'm gonna say on here, but I was definitely making fun of it.
I was enjoying it. I mean, and I think you know what? For me, it's the influence. It's like, did we influence that, or excuse me, not we, but did America influence that, or did that influence America, and we just
I'm
don't
gonna
know the
say
difference because we're
I'm
here?
gonna say that was influenced by American dance because every Indian movie I've seen, they're more fluid than that, just humping.
Very
They don't
fair.
just they don't normally just hump the air
I
and look
thought
Mhm.
the
ridiculous
same
in
thing,
cut
but
up
I thought it was
shorts.
right. I thought the same thing, but I did assume it was just me. And that's because I'm not really a dancing person. So
Hey, neither am I. I know what I've seen,
fair.
and most of them didn't seem to do hump dancing. They seem to
Mhm.
be more fluid and move around. They actually have choreography,
Mhm.
and I
That's
think
fair.
they're finally catching up to America as far as the choreography is like. Only thing left to do is start humping stuff.
Pelvic thrust
Maybe.
to
Right.
everything.
I
Mm.
probably couldn't say hump. That's probably bad.
That's
That's pelvic
Pelvic
terrible.
thrust.
thrust.
Don't do that.
Pelvic.
No, we're good. All right, let's get to our verdicts,
All
guys.
right. Yeah.
Um,
Um. So, I guess I can go. Shoot, I've been doing the most talking. I don't know, probably not doing the most talking, but I talk. Um. I'm I'm on the verge. It's cusping over here. It's cusping over here. It's more than an 8. I'm gonna start with that. It's more than an 8.
All right. But what is
I'm
it?
gonna give this a 9.
okay.
Okay.
There is room for error. And there wasn't much, but there was some.
Okay.
I'm giving this an 8.5. I'm sorry. I'm giving this an 8.5. I just thought one thing that is for sure a no for me. I gave this
Okay.
an 8.5 for sure. It's not RRR. It's not Bahubali, but it is on par. It's up there. It's all great, man. I'll watch it again too. And it just came out a month ago. So I mean, hell, it still has to grow on the masses in general. So yeah,
Yeah.
That's
let's
true.
see how it
Yeah.
grows. Let's see how it ages.
I
So
for sure enjoyed it. So I get it. I get where you're coming from.
for yeah,
I
so
didn't follow everything, but I definitely enjoyed it.
and I think that's why I just went down to an 8.5 because I was like, you know what? Maybe I didn't follow everything. I know I'm gonna watch it again, so I'm gonna go 8.5, and I know eventually we'll reevaluate. So
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I
Yeah.
was thinking I gave it an 8 myself, even 8, because I thought it was really good. I couldn't follow all of it because of the subtitles being a little speedy. I
mhm.
just didn't really follow it all. But overall, I just enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really just enjoyed. I had a good time watching it, and I think that says a lot because I don't enjoy a lot of movies that I watch nowadays. Sometimes they're good, and it's just like, it was cool.
right.
You know what I mean? This
Right.
one, I was a little excited towards the end. Like, this is actually pretty good,
It's
and
Great.
like,
I
oh,
don't get
that's
to
it.
say that too often.
Look, after 2 hours and what 40 minutes, 40 something minutes, it's kind
Right?
of rare to go. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
You're not a little bit more. I'll take another 15 minutes. What's up?
I would have
So yeah.
taken another dance sequence, to be
hmm
honest. Yeah.
Yep.
I've been all
Um,
right with that.
And
right.
then the
And
machine guns at the end of the dance sequence.
Right.
that was
Come
You
dope.
can't
on.
beat that.
Which proved the interposed point of, oh man, the whole dance sequence was just to lead up to them still doing some justice.
They were just doing recon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
That
then
got
the old
everybody
man was only barely dancing, but he was still doing his little moves real
doing his
quick.
thing.
Yep.
Doing his thing.
He
67
was
years old doing a
leaning
whole
with it.
dance sequence still.
He was leaning with it a
Yeah, he
lot.
was.
Wait, Mike, really quick. What was the very first part of your critique? Your last critique was
Hmm?
you had said something I wanted to add to it. Oh well.
Subtitles and uh what was the other thing? I forgot. Just that quick.
Very nice. Very nice. That's how we do it over here. Um,
Yeah.
Hey man.
no,
What
no,
do you
I
want
mean,
from
hey,
me?
I was listening and I didn't remember. I'm sitting here like, didn't I write it down? No, I didn't write it down. I don't usually write you guys'
Because
takes
I
down.
enjoyed it. That's
Yeah,
that's what was important. It was enjoyable. The,
That's
the the critiques weren't even really critiques more than it was just like observations.
mhm,
Hmm.
mhm.
Yeah. I enjoyed myself too. I had a lot of fun with this one. I felt like it was a little bit heavy in the midsection, but not anything crazy.
Right.
I mean, most Indian cinema films are like 3 hours long, so this is kind of on the shorter side, um, which is fun. I thought the music was pretty good. The sound design was pretty good. There was a little bit too much of the slow mo in some spots, but the fights were great. I
There
think
was
that
a lot of that.
there was a lot of slow-mo, but I think the fights were great. I think that the end scenes, the last 20 minutes really pick up, and you feel like it pays off that you watched for that long. And I think that that's a good thing, because I think if they hadn't really nailed that ending, you might feel a little bit less enthusiastic about the movie, but I think they did a very good job with the ending. So
Mm.
I'm feeling like a 7.5 on this one.
Okay.
If I recall, I gave RRR 9,
Yeah,
and
I think we
that's,
both
I
did.
think, still at the top of my Indian cinema list right now. So this is very good. It's above average. It's a fun watch. Yeah, it's a 7.5 for me.
Indeed. And I want to say, that's what I remember what it was. It wasn't necessarily something you said, Mike. It was your rating. You gave it an 8, and I gave it an
Mhm.
8.5. Nick gave it a 7.5. Um, I was gonna add that for me, in order for anything to go over an 8, or even sometimes to even hit an 8, I have to have some emotional pull. Like, if I don't get a watery
Mm.
eyeball or something, you're not going over an 8. Like, it's just not gonna happen. My eyes watered twice, and I actually dropped 2 tears.
Really?
You got to
Yeah,
count them.
and it was just it wasn't like sad. It was just like emotional. Like, oh yes, we needed that. It was like almost tears of joy. Actually, both times I think was tears of joy. In fact,
I get that. I only get that from obscure movies, not usually ones that make that intentionally try to do that.
Mhm.
Everything
Like,
Everywhere All at Once.
I love that movie.
That one made me.
That
That
was
one made me leak from my face.
leaked from my face.
I I think it was raining in my bedroom when I watched that movie, and a little
Yeah,
got on my face. I don't know what that
And
was
probably.
all about. I
you
definitely
salty
didn't
for
cry
crying.
though. Just saying.
Just some
Right,
mist in the air. Yeah.
right.
Jeez.
Because I
You
definitely didn't cry, but it started raining in my room when I was watching it, and got on my
Mhm.
face a little bit,
Yeah, it
and my
happens.
nose started to run a little because of allergies.
You gotta be careful of those nightstand monsoons, man.
Man, I'm saying.
They sneak up on you.
I don't know what these two are alluding to. I cry
Yeah.
When angels deserve.
for ice cream.
Mhm.
Say it again. Ew, you caught that? Did you catch that? Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
yep, yep.
Um,
All right. Well, that gives us about an 8
yep.
for
8 flat.
this movie. 8 flat for Godfather Hindi. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to add before we wrap this one up?
I think I want to find
Part
some
2.
Hindi horror movies too,
That'd be cool.
just to see what that's like.
Let's check them out.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do some research and we'll add them to the list for sure.
for sure.
Indeed.
And if you guys have
I
any
do want.
suggestions, let us know in the
Yep.
comments.
I was. I do want to say, please let us know if you guys know anything. Let us know if you guys know of if there's a number 2 of this coming. I know it just came out, but yes, I want to know.
Again, I think it's based on a
Or
movie
is this a
called
prequel?
Lucifer.
Oh
Ooh.
no.
Yeah.
And
So
maybe it's some reference. That's what maybe J Dev was. Well, I'm a demon.
mhm.
Yeah, because that made me scared for him. Like, ooh.
It made me scared. Exactly. It made me scared for J Dev for saying it. Oh, I'm a demon. Do you know
Right.
what I do to demons? I thought he's about to get into another monologue on him.
Mhm.
Um,
All right.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Thank you, Keelan and Carter, for this great episode. And I think we're gonna wrap it up here. You guys good with that?
Oh
For
yeah.
sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in with us on the Screen Time Continuum tonight. We hope that you had a fun episode and enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed it. Give us a thumbs up and subscription to our YouTube page. It would really help us out. We're trying to grow that audience, and we can't do it without you guys. So please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscription, leave a comment. Let us know what you'd like us to check out. We love international films, so if you're from a specific country, then you have movies that you love, leave us a comment and let us know what your favorite movie is. And we might just check it out here on the Screen Time Continuum. We have a number of podcasts that we do on our own. You can go check out all of those podcasts on Facebook at Think Ring Talks. We do a podcast every day of the week except for Monday, starting Tuesday nights with Keelan. If Numbers Could Talk at 8:30 or 8 p.m. If Numbers Could Talk is on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, And all of these channels will have a YouTube page and a Facebook page and a Spotify page, so you can go check them out there. Tuesday nights with Keelan, if numbers could talk. Tuesdays and Thursdays with Dijon the Mustard at Strawberries and Coffee on Twitch. You can also check him out on YouTube at Strawberries and Coffee. Of course, Wednesdays and Sundays here at Screen Time Continuum, 8:30 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and I think we're on... No, that's it for right now. Thursday nights, or Friday nights, is Exofathom at 8 p.m. You can go check that out, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. And Saturday mornings with Keelan and Bobby, this merry moment, between 10 a.m. and noon, you can go check them out, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Saturday mornings, this merry moment. Then come back here Sundays for Screen Time Continuum, 8:30 p.m. We're reviewing movies and TV shows, and maybe something that you suggest. So, again, leave us a comment. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys, for Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick.
I'm Mike.
And Keelan,
And Keelan's muted.
And I am Keelan. Unmuted now. Aha.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Take care.
I don't know what's going on with that button. I think Godfather stared at my button. Pause.